Mm.
Yeah, we straight chillin', serial killing, pre-cold villains on the mic, got you reeling. 5-star rated from the floor to the ceiling. If you catch a 1-star, no time for feelings. Got a demon DJ on the ones and twos, by the name Beelzebub, so don't get confused. So grab a seat by the fire, roast them all over two, and prepare to hear the legend of the straight chillin' crew.
What up, nerds? And welcome to Bon B's Dying Tonight here at Straight Chilling. We are, of course, your weekly horror movie review show where you chill and we kill, slice, dice, and chop up yet another horror movie. My name is Bob. I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode 393, recorded Sunday, October 16th, 2022. Tonight, we are talking about that new hotness from David Gordon Green, Halloween Ends. Before we get into it, let me introduce everyone else on the show. First up, calling in from Washington, D.C., we got our boy Randu. What's up? Randu!
Hey, buddy. How's it going? Are we all feeling very positive, super posy today?
I am super posy today.
Oh, yeah. This is going to be just a relaxed, chill conversation
Mm,
about a very amenable film franchise.
We're all about
I'm excited to
positivity
speak
at
calmly
Straight
about it.
Chilling. Nobody gets excited. Nobody gets negative. Never has, never will. That's just
What
how
we do
are.
is breathing exercises.
Next up, we got our boy doing a downward dog, calling in from South Korea. What's up, Soju?
Oh, what up? It's your boy. Oh, God, boys. What have they done to our boy?
What have they done to my boy?
Well, look
My
what they did to my
boy.
boy, boys.
Oh,
Boys, look at my boy.
boys. Not my boy. Boy.
Oh, what did they do to my boy?
That's a hell of a stain.
Yeah, that's a monologue, Stains. Could be.
Oh, what a fantastic question that we're definitely going to get to the bottom of here by the end of the show. Before we get to it, let's tackle some housekeeping real quick. Here's another reminder: we do have our November poll pick currently posted on our Patreon website. If you support us at the $5 level or above, you get the chance to vote on a movie we're talking about this November. The theme for November is Juicy J's Takeover Month. What are we voting on here, Juice?
I'm taking over. We are voting on Henry Selick films. This is a director highlight. He has made some fantastic classic horror animations. Nightmare Before Christmas, Coraline, and James and the Giant Peach are the films that you can vote on. And Bob, how are those numbers looking?
Dude, Coraline is straight dominating.
Killing
Still
it. She's been killing it all month.
killing it. Nightmare Before Christmas is in second place, and James and the Giant Peach not looking so giant, buddy. You're
Is he
in last.
still at 0?
I think there is a single vote for James.
Somebody came out of every state.
That's something.
It's mostly just been at 0.
There's always
Yeah.
one guy who wants that last flavor of Neapolitan, isn't there?
Yeah, well, you know that votes can be changed, but Coraline's great. You know, these are all three, in my
Yeah.
opinion, classics. And so
All
I'm happy
worthy.
to talk about either one.
Yeah, we can't lose, really. We're going to talk about a good movie, no matter what. Make sure you get your votes in before the end of October. We'll see what we're talking about in November. In other Patreon news, we did drop a brand new minicast last Friday. We're dropping a new minicast every single Friday throughout the month of October. Last Friday, we dropped one on Bodies. This Friday, we got a new hot minicast dropping. We are all three of us are on this one. We're talking about Crimes of the Future.
Oh, wow.
Crimes of the Future. It was like so
Oh,
long ago we talked about
Yeah, I
this.
was just thinking,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I forgot about this.
We are prepared. That new
Nice.
Cronenberg hotness, it's extremely horny and extremely weird.
Yeah.
Well,
Spoilers.
yeah, spoilers for our review.
Yeah. Coming out on Friday.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's dropping this Friday. Man, we got a lot of shit going on. We got a new
Get
episode.
the juice now.
We got a new episode of Let's Get Physical Media also dropping this week. At the time you're
shit.
listening to this, it will already be out. Mikey and myself, we're talking about our September pickups for the year. If you have any interest in collecting physical media, Blu-rays, 4Ks, DVDs, limited edition shit, stuff like that, check out Let's Get Physical Media anywhere you get your podcasts. We talk a lot about horror movies, but not explicitly. We kind of cover the gamut. So that is dropping this Tuesday. Again, actually, we got to celebrate our Chilloween party. Big thanks to everybody that hung out with us this past Friday for the Chilloween extravaganza. We had a good turnout. We played some trivia. We had some amazing costumes.
One person was dressed up as Bob.
That is true.
Our boy Nate.
Raid.
Yeah.
Which I
brought-
did not like when he logged on. It did not clock that he was dressed up as me, and he had to I was like, oh, that's just something that I don't know.
Just
what it
thinking,
is.
wow, you're looking good tonight, Naderade. Wow, you
Yeah.
are
What
looking
are you-
snazzy, my
You've been
guy.
hitting the gym. What are you
When did you
doing?
get so tasteful?
Loving the hair, man. Oh, where'd
Loving
you
the
get that
Hawaiian
shirt?
tea. Shit, my boy. Fuck.
Come to daddy.
To daddy. That shit was really funny though. We had a couple Kurt Russells in the mix. We had a Cinnabite
Panda.
in the mix. We had a panda costume. Yeah,
Mhm.
we had some good ass shit. We'll be getting the prizes out in the mail to you guys as soon as possible. It'll probably be about a week. I want to make sure that I got some good shit stuff in those prize packs before I send them out. So expect that in the mail coming relatively soon there.
So plump, so right.
We also have some new merch on our TeePublic website. Randy, you designed the shit out of some new merch for us.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. Yeah, so taking our Chilloween party to heart, we have some very, very limited edition pieces on TeePublic right now, our TeePublic page. And that is a copy of our Chilloween 2022 logo, as well as our pumpkin head logo icon, which I personally purchased one because I love him. He's one of my favorite things I've done. So I'm psyched to wear him on my chest during this spooky, spooky season. And you can too. But again, they're limited edition. And what that means is when it's November 1st, they're off the market, baby. Forever, probably. And
Probably. They're going in the vault.
You're definitely
probably
not going to get it ever again. So
Probably.
please,
That's why
while
we
you
announced
still
it
have
so
it in you.
early in this.
I know,
season.
yeah. We only want the creme de la creme of the hardest with us to get this item. So please jump on over to our TeePublic page. I believe there's a link on our site, and there's also a link on our Instagram, whatever, tree link tree, whatever the fuck that is.
Yeah, link
It's
tree,
in there.
Find
Yeah,
yourself.
Yeah,
It's in there.
there's a link to our TeePublic
There's a
shop.
scavenger hunt to find our page.
I've left you a series of clues.
We don't want to
Mhm.
sell fucking anything, and we want to make that very clear to all of you right now. Yeah, there's a link on Instagram and also on our website, straightchillingpodcast.com, to our TeePublic shop if you guys are interested. And you can get those logos on tote bags and sweatshirts and all kinds of, not just
Phone
shirts.
cases, masks,
Yeah,
kids
stickers,
clothing.
condoms, butt plugs, all
I
the
mean,
things.
That's
in
a whole different
development.
site.
All in development.
We have to
I'm
test the
personally
plugs, make sure
testing
they
them out myself.
Can we get these beads any bigger? They're just not big enough.
I
This
haven't
just keeps
pooped in 3
falling
weeks.
right out.
It's insufficient to fill the chasm.
It's not quite
no, we're
plugging right.
We're making poop and butthole jokes. Bob is not going to be able to keep the
And
beat.
house-
It's
Housekeeping.
not plugging right. All right. Last but not least, Juice, you're doing something really cool over in Seoul for all of our Seoul listeners. What do you got
Yeah,
going on?
after all that, let me go ahead and announce what I'm up to. Yes, well,
Walking around with butt plugs.
yeah, so actually this is going to be kind of the first straight chilling event to happen in Seoul, which is crazy because I've been here over 5 years now. But on the day before Halloween, so this is Sunday, October 30th, I am going to be participating in a Halloween party, Halloween event that is being hosted by ourselves, The Dark Side of Soul, which is another podcast in Seoul. If you heard our episode on A Tale of Two Sisters that we did a couple months ago, Sean, who is the guest on that episode, he is a part of The Dark Side of Soul. They are hosting as well as the Dice Latte, which is actually where the event will also be held. They're hosting as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be doing some spooky activities. They got some games planned. I'm going to be hosting for trivia at that event. So that is October 30th at the Dice Latte, which is in Dongdaemun. If you happen to be listening and you're in Korea, come hang out with us the day before Halloween and celebrate spooky season.
Nay.
Yes. We're going
Awesome.
international, boys, finally.
That's super badass, man. I'm very, very stoked for you to be able to do that. Yeah, check us out. Soul side, stateside, all the sides. We get all the sides. We're everywhere.
Yeah. Oh, I did want to
I think-
mention last week. I know I got a little bit more housekeeping.
Go for it.
But mostly because last week I did a special YouTube video review with Hydraberg from A Cut Above Horror Review. I was keeping it a secret last week, so I want to make sure he gets a shouts outs. We did a pretty much full review of Werewolf by Night. That is the Marvel MCU Halloween special that was dropped. We went cooter hunting. We did some trivia. So if you're looking for a kind of bonus review, you can check that out at youtube.com/straight chillin' podcast. We are just slamming so much in your ears these
Man.
days.
It still shocks me that you just insisted on having that on a separate show instead of talking on this one.
I
Like,
know.
I don't know what your problem
I
is with
didn't
that.
want to hear y'all's opinions. Okay,
That's
tired-
clear. That is clear.
We
I
heard
wanted
you
to
loud
hear
and clear.
Hydraberg.
You didn't say the magic word.
No,
Uh-uh.
Hydraberg is always the #1 defender of the MCU on our Slack channel, so I felt it appropriate to to have him
The real
on.
superhero
Yeah,
on our
mhm,
Slack.
He does the
Hydraberg.
avenging for us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, boys, I think our house is officially clean.
I think so.
This house is clean.
Confirmed.
All right, let's get into the main event. We're talking about Halloween Ends, and we're kicking it off with the back of the box.
What's on the back of the box?
Bob, did you already pre-order this box?
I did not pre-order this, but you can. You can if you want to.
Whoa, Bob!
Really?
Showing restraint.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
might
I
let
guess
this
they are
one
releasing.
simmer.
Yeah.
For
Oh,
now.
yeah. Bob, you know. You know
Mr.
this is
Completionist
going
is
the
on a
shelf.
break for this one.
I know. I mean, if Best Buy puts out a limited edition steelbook of this, I have the one for Kills and for Halloween 2018. I have to buy it because I'm a corporate shill. But as of right now, that is not the case. We're talking Halloween Ends. Brand new movie with a runtime of 1 hour and 51 minutes. This was written and directed by David Gordon Green. Obviously based on characters from John Carpenter's original film. It stars Jamie Lee Curtis, Andy Matichak, James Jude Courtney, Rohan Campbell, Will Patton makes his triumphant return, a whole bunch of other folks. A plot synopsis brought to us by IMDb, because the box does not exist just yet, is as follows. The saga of Michael Myers and Laurie Strode comes to a spine-chilling climax in this final installment of this trilogy. What a odd summary that is.
I just get so excited about all that boogeyman bullshit.
Boogeyman bullshit. Well, Gentleman's brand new movie, first time watch, obviously. Would you recommend people check this movie out? Juice, why don't you kick us off?
So if you want in on the fun, if you want in on the conversations and the rage, then yeah, watch this. I do not spend money like our two other hosts to feed this crooked machine. Stream it, watch it online.
Yeah, it's
Do
a
not-
principled stance.
It is.
Obviously.
It's principled. Okay. I'm a man with the code. No,
Killian
don't
simply evil.
don't go to the theaters to watch this. These people don't need to take any more of your money. But watch it and join in on the fun of bitching about this movie. It's not good. Bob, would you recommend people check this movie out?
Only out of just morbid curiosity. It's not good, and we'll get into all that. But like Justin, do not, if you can watch it at the house, check it out. Obviously, you're gonna watch it no matter what. Unless you've just decided hardline after it kills, like fuck you, David Gordon Green. It's I don't know. We got a lot to talk about, but no, I don't really recommend it. Randy, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, to some extent, I agree with Justin. Like, this is not a movie that is that I was excited to see by any means. But at least at first, but once the buzz started happening, once the reaction started hitting, I really wanted to see it. And I felt like I was jonesing to get in the seat and actually get my fill so that I could capably talk about this with people without having it spoiled for myself. So if you're one of those completionist types, if you're one of those Halloween mega fans, I maintain that there are worse Halloween movies than this in the franchise. So take from that what you will and go check it out. I don't think you're going to be personally responsible for the next Halloween movie being made if you go to the goddamn theater once. So enjoy yourself as much as possible.
I think that's fair to say. This is not the worst, but it is peculiar for sure.
Some people could argue it's the worst.
Some people very much are arguing it.
Sure.
Actually, on the Slack right now, there's quite a discussion. I
It's
couldn't
happening.
go through all of it, but
Twitter is a buzz.
You could consider this the worst Halloween,
Some-
and that would be an okay opinion.
It's one that you could
Or
have.
reasonable. That would be a reasonable opinion.
All right, this is a brand new movie. We're dropping that spoiler warning right now and getting into it. Here we go.
Spoiler warning.
All right, Bob, did you type up a plot synopsis?
This is
You
going to
know
be
I
the
did.
pettiest, most butthurt plot synopsis
You know
possible.
I
I'm
did.
Well,
sure.
I watched it a whole second time, so I
I
know
watched
he
it
was
twice.
able. I sent him the link, so I know he
Mm.
was just sitting there watching, stewing in it.
Boys,
Yeah.
we didn't know. I listened back to our reviews on Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills, and like that Halloween Kills episode, we covered it thoroughly, but like we didn't know how good we had it. We didn't know.
Nah, we were spoiled back then.
Fucking
Some
We'll
people
get
babes
to
in
don't
the
that.
think
wood.
so, though. Some people don't think that's the case.
Anyway, I do have a
Bob,
plot
hit us
synopsis
with
typed
that
out.
synopsis.
I'm going to go through it. Here we go. All right. Movie opens up on Halloween night 2019. We meet Corey Cunningham, who is babysitting a boy named Jeremy, who ends up locking Corey in the attic as a prank. Corey kicks the door open violently, which knocks Jeremy over a banister and down 3 stories, killing him as his parents return home for the evening. Corey is accused of killing the kid intentionally, but is only convicted of aggravated manslaughter, which apparently in Illinois, I looked this up, gets you 2 to 5 years in jail. 3 years later, we find Haddonfield reeling from the events of Halloween night 2018. Lori is writing a memoir and has purchased a new home where her granddaughter Allison lives with her. Corey gets bullied by some high school band kids and cuts his hand on a glass. An onlooking Laurie Strode takes him to the doctor's office where Allison works to get him patched up, and he and Allison hit it off. They attend a Halloween party later that evening where Corey runs into Jeremy's mother. He gets worked up, runs off, and the band bullies intercept him and throw him off a bridge. Michael Myers finds him and pulls him into the sewer he's apparently been living in. Corey wakes up and Michael grabs him by the throat. The two lock eyes and Michael decides to let Corey go. As he crawls out of the sewer, he is confronted by a homeless man with a knife. They have a struggle resulting in Corey stabbing him to death. Corey and Allison go on a date where they are confronted by Allison's ex-boyfriend, who is a cop. Corey ends up luring him to Michael's sewer home, where Michael kills him and appears to grow stronger after he does so. Allison finds out she was passed over for a promotion at work. The girl who got the promotion is sleeping with the boss. Corey and Michael kill Allison's coworker and boss while they're trying to have a nice little date night. Corey and Allison decide to leave Haddonfield. On Halloween morning, Corey wakes up to Laurie Strode telling him to stay away from Allison. Corey blames Laurie for what happened in Haddonfield, as do several of the other townsfolk. Corey returns to the sewer and takes Michael's mask from him. Corey kills the high school band bullies as well as his mother, the radio DJ by the name of Willie the Kid, and the radio station receptionist. Corey then goes to Laurie's home where she fakes a suicide and ends up shooting him twice in the chest. He falls through a banister and ultimately stabs himself in the neck because he realizes he can't have Allison. Allison arrives and believes that Laurie has just killed Corey. She's upset and leaves. Michael arrives and puts his mask back on. He also snaps Corey's neck, finally killing him. Michael and Laurie fight in the kitchen where Laurie pins him to the counter with several knives. Michael grabs Laurie by the neck and Allison returns home, saving Laurie by breaking Michael's arm. They cut Michael's throat and wrists, letting him bleed out. The cops arrive and facilitate a procession where Michael's corpse is tied to the top of Allison's Ford. Motherfucking focus. They parade his carcass through the town to show everybody he is indeed dead. Ultimately, they arrive at Corey's uncle's junkyard where they throw Michael's body into an industrial shredder, grinding his corpse up. Laurie and Allison reconcile. Allison leaves Haddonfield while Laurie finishes her memoir and rekindles a romance with Officer Hawkins. Roll them credits. Dear God, boys. Dear God.
I get this horrible feeling in the pit of my stomach that I'm going to be the one defending this movie.
Well,
I mean,
okay, to be fair, like the first 3 or 4 notes on my pad, which goes quite a long way, but the first 3 or 4 notes start off with a trying to be positive kind of vibe.
Let's start with the premise. But I like this. Okay.
Yeah, so I wrote I was like, damn, the opening was actually brutal. It's not particularly what I want to see, a kid dying, but I was like, wow, that was I was not expecting it, and I saw the kind of seeds of them planting of somebody, this kind of outcast. Even the opening, before we get into him meeting the granddaughter. What's the granddaughter's name? Please help me out.
Allison.
So before Corey, meets Allison, like the idea of him being this outcast and blamed for this kind of murder and stuff like that, I was like, okay, I wasn't like super stoked about it, but I was willing to ride with it. And then there was like some scenes I said, like when they go to that dance, I was like, oh, this dancing is shot pretty interestingly. It's pretty cool. Some cool musical cues. There's some songs popping up that I thought were pretty badass.
Yeah, they had the Dead Kennedys in here, Halloween, and also Teenage Werewolf by the Cramps, and that like Midnight Monster Party song that the movie opens up with is fucking great. I never heard that before. That was a new one for me. The soundtrack is great. The score is like much more minimalistic than I think the other 2 movies, but it serves its purpose, I think, where it needs to. What's up? What you got?
Oh, before we get too far down the pipeline, I want to call out one thing that I think has been consistently great about all 3 of these films, and that is the title sequences. I like all of them. I don't like this one as much as the first 2. I think maybe Kills has the best one for my money, but which I didn't remember it was that good, but like having rewatched it recently, I was like, oh shit, yeah, this is pretty badass. Just like the floating, burning jack-o'-lanterns, that's pretty great.
Yeah.
This one, they have this kind of crazy like pumpkins bursting out of pumpkin situation. It's a little weirder.
It's Jackoception is what it is.
Jackoception, sure. And it's not my favorite one, but I do like it a lot. I think that especially like the type choice or whatever, because it's a harkening back to Halloween 3, which is kind of nice. And also like
I like that,
there's something about that type and that color or whatever that like just even back when Halloween 3 was on, I just think it looks nice from a design perspective. So I just wanted to call those out as being pretty strong and stronger than we've seen in a long time for this series.
Well, so
Strong
since
opening
so
sequences,
since
or
we were
central
starting with
type of
positives, I didn't want to jump into that because I thought the last two, I was probably the hardest on the previous two films, but I
Mhm.
love those openings. Like you said, I
Mhm.
mean, Halloween 4 is like really dope. But yeah, they kind of lost their way a little bit and these like brought it back, but I did not like this one. So the last
Hmm.
ones were pretty kind of simple. The fire, it was really cool.
Yeah.
The one where it's going backwards, I thought was a cool effect, but
Mhm.
this looked wonky to me. Like it didn't look good. And then also too, this was the seed that planted this kind of pit in my stomach where the whole idea of what I took from this opening of they start with this original pumpkin and it morphs into different faces, different pumpkins, and I was like, oh no, they're trying to teach me something. Or
Whoa.
like this is a message. And that's kind of what this
Yeah.
movie evolved into. And I didn't particularly think it looked good, and it planted that seed of like, oh no, I'm about to be like tried
So
to taught like a
I don't know.
a
I think the other
lesson.
ones were.
they,
I think they. Go ahead, Bob.
I was gonna, I think the font harkening back to Halloween 3 is really fucking cool, and I think like this movie is ultimately its purpose is to deliver a message more so than it is to deliver you an adequate Halloween movie.
Yeah.
Which I think the ideas that they are playing with in this movie make sense for a Halloween film. Like you can have those ideas and those themes woven into a Halloween story in a way that serves the overall story and characters that everybody is showing up to see. But they seem to choose they don't do that. They create new characters that nobody is particularly interested in, or at least I guess I'm speaking for myself, or I'm not. But like to relay those messages and themes instead of using the characters that they already have in play that they've gone out of their way to bring back from the original movie and from the first two movies in this trilogy here. And like you've got enough to work with here to tell these stories and make your points, and they just sort of like sideline all of that. Everything that like people are showing up to see, they just sideline that, and they tell you this love story. They lay out this love story between Allison and Corey, and then like at the very end they seem to like tag on the conclusion of the trilogy that everybody's actually showing up to see. It's almost an afterthought. It's like mind-blowing that that's how they would choose to end this trilogy to me.
Well, are we still doing positives?
Well,
Sorry.
no,
Yeah.
let's-
So
I don't-
the ideas, the positive nugget in that, or the ideas and themes that they're playing with are good, and I think they make sense to be included in a Halloween movie, like the creation of Corey becoming a monster through like the fear and paranoia and like the blame and bullying and like abuse by the hands of the town folks and like his peers in school and his mother and his uncle and just everybody that's around him is treating him like shit because of some accident that happened, and they're like projecting this Michael Myers evil onto him and making him into that evil when apparently he was really just a nice kid at the start. So like that makes sense, but like you can do that in a way that serves the overall purpose a lot better.
I have a lot to say on that.
Me
but
too. A lot of negative things to say on that.
Sure.
That's the thing is like fuck the positives. We'll get
Yeah,
back
fuck
to
the
them maybe.
positives. Let's go
So
on that
like
idea. Yeah, take it, Randy. I know what you're
let's
gonna
follow
say.
this.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. This whole the previous movie, we just talked about this, Halloween Kills. We were pretty hard on it because it took some pretty bold stances within the lore that it was establishing. And I don't remember if I said this in the episode or not, but my feeling towards it, I think, has been pretty consistently the same, which is that anytime you try and stack extra lore on Michael Myers' specific back, that's when these sequels fail. That's what makes them worse, because the more you explain the dark, the less scary the dark is. And so like that's why 2018, I feel, looking back, having seen it again recently also, is pretty fucking great like it's a good fucking movie to me, and I think that that's largely because the lore that they add has everything to do with Laurie Strode and nothing to do with Michael Myers. Laurie is the one who has transitioned, who has these new things to say. The world around Michael has changed, but Michael is the same Michael for the most part. And I think that is what's lacking in Kills, especially at the end. The big error is the huge swerve, which is basically outright stating the supernatural level of him and like showing us that he's able to withstand a gang style fucking death, like a like 10 15 people beating and shooting and choking, yeah,
And
to death,
cutting,
and
stabbing. Yeah.
none of it sticks, none of
And
it fucking sticks. He just
plugging.
goes into hiding and then kills Judy Greer, poor Judy Greer, who's
I
doing
know,
whatever she's-
dude. Fucking
No.
A.
Oh,
Randy, I think
you
you're muted now, or something wrong has
disconnected.
occurred. Yeah.
No. So I'm gonna pick up while Randy fixes some technical things. So Bob, you were
All right.
talking about this idea of like the projecting the evil onto him and things like that. But where I thought Randy was gonna take this is it kind of gives me this like kind of Joker popped into my mind. And
Oh, yeah.
a little bit of Rob Zombie's original Halloween, where you want to or like they want to make this despicable character understandable and sympathetic.
Yeah.
And honestly, we kind of talked about this a little bit with the new Dahmer. Like, oh, are we gonna watch this Dahmer where it kind of
Makes you feel
he,
bad
he
for
was a
him?
kid
Yeah.
and look at how he's
Yeah.
picked on, and like it gives it some sort of justification, or I mean, it's okay for like understanding, but when you're dealing with these fictional characters, and especially one that's this kind of love interest, it felt like kind of gross to me and like soured my stomach a little bit about one, because they didn't even do it well. Like from a
They did
storytelling
it very
standpoint,
poorly.
yeah,
I
they
agree.
did it
Yeah.
very, very poorly. But I don't like this idea of, we made this monster. We're kind of like getting our just rewards because we as a community, we can hear you, Randy. We as a
Yeah.
community,
I
did
can't hear.
this. Should we stop?
It won't even let me leave.
We can hear you.
Yeah, let me. I'm gonna try and roll it back to a good stopping place while Randy tries to fix this shit.
Okay.
I'll try and keep most of what you said though, if I can.
Oh, what the fuck? Oh. Randy. We cannot see or hear you, Randy. I don't know if you can hear me.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you see me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Am I coming in on the right mic?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you sound good. Sound good to me.
Okay. All right. I don't know where we left off. I'm sorry about that, guys. It just
So
completely shat the bed on me again.
that's all good, man. So I cut it back, Juice, where you say like, you don't like the idea, and then I cut it there, but you are about to say like we're we as a community
Sympathizing.
created this monster, and
Uh-huh.
we're reaping our just desserts, or so,
Okay.
so
Okay.
yeah, so I can punch you in there if you feel comfortable picking up
Sure.
on your
Yeah.
point. Okay, I'll record and then I'll point at you, and you can roll into your point.
I don't like the idea of this community, getting its just rewards for creating this monster. You did this and this is what happens. He was a good kid, and now look what you did. You've turned him into this monster, and it's your fault, and so of course he's going to go on this killing spree. And they forced it so poorly too. That scene where they meet the dad in the bar, and he's like, I was gonna forgive this kid, I was gonna do it, but I just saw the evil in his eyes, and I was like, what is this bullshit? I don't like making this sympathetic killer type of deal, and I
So
don't know, I just don't like this
I
approach.
I don't hate that idea of being included in a Halloween movie, but I do think they pull it off poorly, for several reasons. But I think one of the many reasons is that messaging becomes extremely convoluted when you have this character come face to fucking face with Michael Myers, and Michael Myers has him by the throat and chooses to let him go because he looks into his eyes and I guess sees himself in this kid, or like relates to this kid, or has empathy with this kid, or any of that is fucking unacceptable when it comes to Michael Myers and doesn't make any sense. But after that moment, that's when this kid fully snaps and goes on his murderous rampage. So if your point of the movie is trying to say like this town created this monster, that is not true here. He only becomes the monster after he locks eyes with Michael Myers.
See,
So what the fuck are you trying to say exactly?
this is the problem. I don't think that's what this movie is going for. And the problem is that I've never seen a movie that is simultaneously so blunt in what it's trying to say and so inaccurate in explaining what they're trying to say. Like they just outright say, like they do buzzwords and catchphrases. It's evil dies tonight all over again. Like at least that was one consistent message throughout the thing is, oh, it's a horde of people that are sick of this bullshit and have a collective trauma as a town. There's something interesting to that, but they like go off the rails, and then it becomes, oh, now we're the monsters. Like there's that level of bluntness, but not that level of focus in this movie. They don't really focus. I think that what the movie is trying to get at is not that like, oh, this poor kid, he's put upon because they created him as a monster. I think this is more ponderance on trauma, like because this goes on to this little like spiel at the beginning about how like, oh, every few months we'll see some crazy thing happen that is just ripples from Michael's wake, and this sort of like thinking. And this is just another example of that, and he just like the natural conclusion of that. I think this movie is getting at like the evil in all men and all that stuff. It's trying to, but and like how you grow that is by distrusting each other or whatever. And there's something you could find interesting in that, but that is just not what fucking Halloween is. This is like the evil in us. Like they got so hung up on the word fucking evil, and it works in the first one because you're talking about a person who has no empathy, who has no ability to has no fucking chill, and just wants to kill people, wants to kill babysitters, and wants to do his little pathological thing. That is one thing that I can like that you can understand, and you can call it evil, and it makes sense to people. But like this kid, it's not like the outgrowth of evil that is growing in him or whatever. It doesn't make any sense. And what I was trying to get at earlier, talking about how like they added the supernatural element, which is just always the death knell of a good Halloween movie, is they kind of retcon it a little bit. And they say, oh, at the end of the movie, they're like, oh, now I see you're just a man who's about to stop breathing, which aside from being a badass lion in a vacuum, is like then I feel like that's them reacting to people's problem with the supernatural elements of the first one. The problem is, in my mind, they introduced another supernatural element by Michael Myers transferring his killer
Yeah.
prowess to this kid who got beat up by a bunch of band nerds. Like, I
Yeah.
don't understand how
Well-
that works. It seems very much, you could interpret that as him being like, oh, I see you're evil. You're a chaotic person like me. It's good that you're out there because we're making chaos for people. Okay, I guess, but it doesn't explain how he suddenly like got these abilities to like just kind of like wave off all these injuries. He doesn't feel pain anymore, and all of a sudden everybody can tell that he's Michael Myers-ish now. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? This kid's dad
Yeah.
that he killed, he has no relation to Michael Myers. He doesn't know what Michael Myers looks like in his eyes. Like, what is he seeing? Like, this is not a thing.
Yeah.
You can't
I-
just see evil in people. That's not how this shit works.
I agree. It's fucking baffling. Like I don't know if that's really what they're trying to portray. I mean, there's evidence to support that and evidence to like go against that. It's fucking like
And that's part of the
confusing.
problem.
And
Yeah,
like,
it's confusing.
but like after he locks eyes with Michael and then like he kills the hobo and then he goes home and he washes the blood off of his hands in the sink, we get this point of view shot from him as we do with Michael
Mhm.
Myers. And like we hear him heavy breathing and it sounds like he's got a mask on, but he doesn't. So it's like, okay, so we have to assume now that some part of Michael is like in this kid, but then he goes on the rest of the movie and when he's not murdering people, he's just like the same fucking dweeb that we've always seen, and he's like talking and like tripping and like trying to lay Mac on like Allison, but like he's just murdering the shit out of people now, whereas before he was getting the shit kicked out of him by band nerds. So it's like,
Dude,
what
this
the,
is like
is
a-
he Michael or is he not? Like, what the
This
fuck
is-
are you doing?
This is like
This
a
movie's-
Spider-Man 3 Tobey Maguire style.
Kind of.
kind
This-
of,
to me,
yeah.
I think, and like having heard Jamie Lee Curtis, who I love Jamie Lee Curtis. I think she's
Yeah, she's
super
great.
fun
Yeah.
and she's a nice person, but also she gets pretty high on her bullshit, especially talking about these movies. And I just have this feeling that like she feels like, or I don't know, I don't want to project that actually. Let's just say I'm gonna expect to see several think pieces on YouTube from other fans or other whatever that are arguing in favor of this movie because this is a movie about like the birth of a school shooter. This is an allegory for all
Yeah.
these
That's what
societal
I
ills.
hated,
And
yeah.
I think it is, but it's so fucking unfocused and it serves nothing to do that. Like also like pretty fucking grim to have this kid who, you know, yeah, he's put upon or whatever and all this shit, but have him like, I don't know, go completely off the deep end. And I don't know, it just seems like if that's your goal, there's a lot of shit that you are being pretty fucking insensitive with about it. And if that's not your goal, then you sure as hell are not leading the proper breadcrumbs. It's again, it's simultaneously blunt and unfocused. It's just stabbing wildly in the dark at shit.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I think there's also like, I remember like way back right after we talked about Halloween Kills, we were reading articles when they were gearing up to go into production for this movie about how it's like a 4-year time jump. We're like, wow, I wonder why that is. It's going to be set in 2022. And like David Gordon Green was talking loosely about there being like, you know, like COVID was a thing. There was a
Yeah.
pandemic. And I was like, man, I hope that's not like a major theme in this movie. And I don't think it's a major theme, but like COVID and like what that has sort of spawned
You don't even know you have it.
throughout the country. Exactly.
As Lori.
It is definitely included heavily in her memoir specifically and other themes like throughout this. But like there's I don't know. Yeah, she's talking she talks about like the fear throughout the community, but she refers to it in the sense of like that it is it's a sickness or an infection, and like you know there's like an external evil and internal evil, and internal evil is worse because you might not know that you're infected with it, and you can either like lock your door and find your own resolve, or you can open your door and let the evil in, and there's like this sort of like quarantine correlation with that, and like it's sort of baked into like her memoir specifically. And like it feels, I have to assume that was going to be way more heavy-handed than it ended up being, because like they probably realized like maybe we should fucking chill a little bit with all of like the messaging. Like it could have been worse than it is, but it's in there. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know that they ever
I made
chilled.
I made a note that like part of my big problems with like 2018 was like some of the messaging. You know, I said in 2018 my favorite part was the middle section where it's Michael going around on Halloween night. And I think the consistency is when these people are making a slasher horror film, they're actually quite successful in a lot of elements, the gores, the kills. That was the best part about Halloween Kills as well. When
Mhm.
they want to teach me something, when they want to say, you know, the podcasters in the first one of like, oh, the way we consume this type of media and you know, like what it does to us and things like that. I hated that element. And I feel like that's only gotten worse as these movies progress. Each movie has a bigger message that takes over more and more of the plot. And it's, you know, I'm not saying you can't have some kind of deeper meaning in horror movies. I'm not saying like just shut up and give me Michael Myers killing on a Halloween night. I'm just saying like these people are not capable of crafting it well. They are like blunt as shit. And the dialogue in this is like on par with some Rob Zombie dialogue. It makes no
Dude,
goddamn sense for the
it's
characters that
bad,
are
yeah.
speaking, and it
Mm.
literally is just a mouthpiece to deliver some blunt ass message that's like not particularly good or well developed anyways. It's terrible.
To some extent, I disagree. Like, I don't want to relitigate 2018. I know we see differently on that.
Yeah.
I don't think that what their like. I think their messaging was pretty minuscule there, certainly by comparison.
By
And I think that
comparison,
it
sure.
was at least a more manageable focus of what they were trying to say. Like saying like a horror movie pondering on how we consume media is not particularly new, and
No.
it's been done better. But I don't think it did poorly, and it was bolstered by enough good, solid Halloweeny Halloween shit
Yeah.
to
Mm,
get me
mm.
where I wanted to go on the entertainment side, so
Sure,
that I
yeah.
could follow along with the other part.
Mhm.
Kills, like I let's not relitigate that, but it
50-50.
starts to edge the other way, the other way down the line, and then we get to this one, and it just seems like any level of like understanding of why the characters do things is secondary to what, like you guys say, like it's what they're trying to get at. In particular, Allison
Yeah.
falling in love with this
Dude.
guy. Like I can understand, oh, two traumatized people, they fall for each other, whatever, but it's happened so quickly and with so little chemistry. And then later on, like the thing that killed me is when she walks in on Lori with the knife and with her boyfriend lying dead on the ground, and she immediately thinks that this woman, like, how like it's nonsense that this person who has been rescued by this woman over and over again,
Preach.
who was right about everything for two
Preach.
fucking movies, is suddenly like, you think she just killed your boyfriend just to kill
You
him?
bitch, grandma.
Just because she
you're
didn't
such-
trust him?
Well,
Like it's a hyper overreaction, and it
it's
seems
terrible.
like
Yeah.
it's like it just doesn't make sense for her character to me. It's like she would come in and be horrified, certainly, but would she immediately, even if she's mad
Dude,
at her, which I don't understand why
she-
she's mad in the first place, why would you assume that? Why would you not call the fucking police and try and save your boyfriend's life?
Wow.
Earlier in the movie, to that point, like we find other people in the community who like point the finger at Laurie Strode and blame her for
Which is nonsense. Also.
taunting the boogeyman and making
Yeah.
him come out of hibernation or whatever the fuck, and killing all these townsfolk, and like it's her fault. And at a certain point in the movie, Allison looks at her grandma and like full on like says to her face, "I blame you for the death of my friends and my parents." It's like, bitch, you were there. You know it's not her fault. You
Yeah.
were there. That doesn't make a lick of sense.
Anybody who's alive is because of Laurie Strode. For you to say that shit is like, that is not just retconning. That's like offensive retconning, where it's like this character is just there to deliver the next step of whatever narrative beat they want to hit. It is not. She is not there to be a living, breathing person anymore. I don't think
Well,
so.
also it doesn't make sense from what these movies have shown us. She spent the whole second movie where the townspeople actually become aware of Michael. We see
Mhm.
the regular townsfolk of Haddonfield of today become aware of Michael Myers. Laurie's in the hospital the whole
Mhm.
Yeah.
time. She
Yeah.
does
She's-
nothing in the second movie. In the first movie, she's at home. Nobody knows
And
where
she's the only everyone right in the
lives?
first movie.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that doesn't make a lick of sense. Blame Tommy Doyle. Blame,
My boy
Blame
like,
herself.
what?
She's part of the lynch mob. Like she is the one that is dead set. I'm gonna go out and kill Michael Myers. And it's not like, here's the thing. I was interested in some of that thinking, but like it just got way out of hand and absurdly over the top.
Yeah.
But like she went. It was her. It was her that went. And like you could say,
Yeah.
oh, she's just lashing out or whatever. But like, I don't know, man. I don't really buy it. I don't think that somebody who like proved on several occasions in the previous two movies that she is capable, like her grandmother, of keeping her cool in horrible situations would suddenly not be able to do that. She barely reacted when her dad died. Like fucking your boyfriend now dies and you're immediately like flipping the script on everything you know about your grandmother.
Well, and that
That's
just the whole
ridiculous to me.
relationship, it just doesn't work because, like you said, there's no chemistry, and
None.
I can if I'm being forgiving or understanding, I could say, the idea, like you said, of two traumatized people kind of finding each other and finding an understanding in each other. But that is
being afraid of it. Sure.
Yeah, that's never the fact that I'm even talking about this in a Halloween film is a fucking like mistake because this direction is bad. But yeah, they just don't it really is just a plot device. It's not good narration, it's not good storytelling. It's literally get some people into place. Man, this whole Corey thing it's so bad.
They're really
I
trying
can't
to show
believe
the
it.
corruption of trauma and of demonizing people or whatever, but it is just so fucking hard to swallow. If it had been Tommy Doyle this time, it might have been an easier thing, not as a boyfriend figure, but like as somebody who was brought down the pipeline towards being kind of evil himself.
Like Tommy
sure,
Doyle,
yeah, and he kind of did that last
even-
time as a town. They kind of did that, but it was so over the top and ridiculous by the end, and it didn't even fucking matter in the end. So
even like coming into this movie, I was kind of prepared. I was prepared for a Friday the 13th 5 type situation. I was prepared for an alternative Michael. I wasn't excited about it, but I was like, I can see if they wanted to somehow keep this going or to, kind of carry some of their themes that they brought up in Kills of like, it kind of carries on through other people. I could not have anticipated this direction, and by like halfway in I texted Bob and I was like, I can't believe that this is real. It feels like a prank.
it's a different movie.
It feels
Fan
like
fiction shit.
Yeah. I couldn't
Totally.
I couldn't
Yeah, it does
believe
feel
it.
So I've read
Oh,
like a couple interviews with David Gordon Green online, and like for some reason he had in his mind that the third installment of this trilogy had to be a love story, and he said something along the lines of like he wanted to tell a love story between Laurie Strode and Michael Myers. Obviously that's impossible, he couldn't do it, so he created this Corey character so that he could tell a love story. It's like, dude, if that's what you wanted to do, you shouldn't have made a fucking Halloween movie, especially not the final installment in a trilogy. You're supposed to close out the story that you've been telling over the past two movies, not just all of a sudden tell a new fucking story that doesn't make any sense. This fucking kid Corey kills like 10 people. Michael Myers kills 3, and one of them, actually 2 of them, are like half dead by the time he gets there, and he just finishes them off. Like Michael Myers is like this weak hermit living in a sewer, and like Corey just rips the mask off of him with no fucking problem. And after he lets Corey go, and like Michael Myers exists in this movie to just be taken advantage of by this Corey kid, and then also just be murdered by Laurie at the end, which is really what everybody showed up for. That the last 10-15 minute sequence, that's like why we're in the seats, but like we got to sit through this weird awkward ass love story for an hour and 20 minutes before we get that. Like what a terrible fucking idea this movie is.
This thing is the thing is, this is just side pitch here. Corey, 2 traumatized teens meet. They are scared to be with each other because they are maligned in their communities. One of them stumbles into a violent situation where he accidentally kills another person, and discovers that's where his powers.
Yes.
That is an interesting other
Yes.
movie. That is
Yes,
not
I
a
completely
Halloween
agree.
movie.
Yeah.
You could, I don't know, man. It's just like he was done with Halloween, but had to make a third movie. It's like what
I
it's
think
what it
that
feels
is
like.
true.
Well, and not just that. Goddamn, this motherfucker. This motherfucker. Truly.
Lori or David or both.
Fucker.
David, I'm calling your ass out.
The
I hope you're
person.
listening.
I like David, but
no,
He-
fuck this.
He's seen.
Because I called this out back in Kills. He did things like he fucking knew what he was doing, and he even in some interviews and stuff, like, you know, strutted his stuff about the direction he's taking Michael Myers, or the direction he's taking these films. This film is such a like doo-doo in the shorts of that, because like they just make a brief mention of, oh, they demolished Michael's house. I mean, that was the whole thing. Is he supernatural?
Dude.
Is he, you know, the mask, him like fucking warping and getting his ass beat, and it doesn't matter to anything. We were saying, like, you know, we won't know if about, you know, Halloween Kills until this next movie come out, because are they going to pay anything off? They paid nothing. They did. Not only did they not pay it off, it's gone. It's nothing. It's
They
not even like
bulldozed
telling a story.
They just
Because they
forgot-
wrote
they
themselves
retconned
into
it.
a corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know what the house means.
And
Let's fucking bulldoze it.
You
Fuck
wrote
fuck
it.
all.
You're doing this trilogy. You had
No,
he
I-
wrote and directed. You can do what you want, and you
See-
wrote your own self into a corner. You just demolished the house.
My theory is not that they wrote themselves into a corner. It's that they found out just how little the fans and audience members appreciated that direction and decided, oh fuck, we got to find a whole new direction. It's got to
So
be a love
they-
story still. So they
They
spent 40
made
minutes
this
with a
movie?
new character. Yeah, no, they were contractually
make
obligated to make
people
a
happy?
movie.
I
No,
mean, I
like
just
they
don't-
that's the problem, is they think that, like, I don't think that they put themselves in a lose-lose situation. Either they continue the strain that they started that sucked, or they start a new strain that maybe, and in all likelihood, will suck because you're abandoning a bunch of shit, but they gotta hope and upon hope that their new idea is good enough to surpass anybody's qualms with that. And of course it didn't. Like-
I've thought about this in other franchises. Somebody actually, when I woke up today, I checked the Slack before I got on and everything like that. And actually, this is a thought I had last night before I went to bed, and I saw it pop up this morning, of comparing this trilogy to the newest Star Wars trilogy. And I was like, yeah,
A lot
I
of people
really
say
kind of
that.
felt that. And I always think this, because I thought it during the Star Wars trilogy, I thought about some other movies that kind of pop up where they're trying to revitalize something and they try to build more out of it than that's actually there. If I found myself in this position where I had this really good idea for 2018, and then I'm now contractually obligated to do a trilogy or something, and I'm just racking my brain and I can't figure it out, man, I would immediately make a blank Reddit handle. I'd make a blank Slack handle, and I would go on and I would pose the question, if you could remake a Halloween movie, what would you do? Because people come up with like the smartest shit, like fans who like know the content well, I read like things and be like, yeah, that's a good idea, or at least like so. This is unacceptable to have this movie the way
Tell 'em.
it is. It's just
I don't.
it's
I don't accept it.
it's unacceptable because if this was the first movie of 3, okay, it's a little like it's more understandable, I guess.
Yeah.
But when
Yeah.
you follow a path, when you are writing and telling the story that you want to write, and then you get here and this is in no way connected to those stories, that don't finish those threads, that's unacceptable to me. That makes you, like, I will say, like, fuck you, because you dropped the ball. You did your job so poorly. You failed completely like 100%. You made the previous movies worse because you were setting up the stuff that we were waiting to finish with you.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
don't
just-
feel
they shit
that
on it.
much hatred for this man who made a dumb move. I don't know. This is a bad movie, but Jesus Christ. To me, this is like
I mean, I don't
it's
want to like
not
herb stomp him or anything, but I just
Well,
think
I
I
mean,
think he did a
tell it to
bad
your
job, and
tongue,
I
buddy.
don't, and I wouldn't give him like more. I hate the idea that both of you, that so many people paid to see this movie because this man is gonna keep getting work. And in the same way, I get so pissed off at Rob Zombie about why the fuck is this motherfucker stealing money from good artists to make his piece of shit work. That's how I feel about this motherfucker because he made so much money just slapping the name Halloween onto his horse shit that he now gets to go do an Exorcist trilogy. Fuck David Gordon Green, seriously.
No, I don't agree with any of that shit,
Okay.
dude. This is like I don't think that he is like set out to just make money and rip it from our claws like an animal. He was backed into making a trilogy. He accepted money. He did a poor job at a job. Like, who among us, for fuck's sake? And also, the idea of going to Reddit for ideas for your movie is fucking terrible. Terrible idea. Some ideas are smart. Some
Dude,
ideas are
fans
terrible.
can
And
come up with great kind.
they can also
might not
come
be able
out
to
with
make a-
bullshit where they make out
can,
with
and
Michael
you
Myers.
Can filter through it better than
But,
this
like,
shit.
how is-
I
how
guarantee
is
you
it
there
better?
are 10 people out there who can easily, that are film
Let's-
writers that could write a better story.
We do not need to talk about how quality people can write plots on fucking Reddit. That doesn't fucking matter
I
at all.
think it's a terrible idea.
Yeah, David Gordon Green made a shitty movie. He's fine. It is what it is. I still think 2018 is great. Kills is fine. This is dog shit.
Let's go back to the positives for a second.
Sure.
If we have time.
Sure.
Yeah, we got time.
Okay. So like one of the positives that I want to point out, I don't have a problem with David Gordon Green continuing to get work. And here is why. I don't want it to be related to anything that we've seen before. I want it to be his own IP because he's got some ideas that he obviously wants to put down on paper and put into something. And we haven't seen, I don't think I've seen enough of him doing those sort of dramatic fucking movies of his own.
All of his HBO shows are fucking great.
Okay, well, I haven't seen them, but those are also more comedic, and
What
that's
are
fine.
they?
Like Vice
all the
Principals, right?
comedies,
Righteous
all the
Gemstones.
comedies, Righteous
Yeah, they're all
Gemstones,
comedies.
yeah.
Yeah.
And see, that's the thing. It's like I don't have a problem with the man getting work. I think that he is capable, just not in the arena of taking a beloved thing that is already very fraught and reviving it. I think he did a great job with 2018, and that maybe put him too big in his britches for the rest of this stuff. But like, I don't want him to see him doing a new Exorcist. What I think positively about this movie and about the franchise that he's put together, this trilogy, is that they look directorially. They look, if you separate out the plot, separate out the baggage that comes with a Michael Myers tale of any kind, they look great. The brutality is great. The action sequences are great. Like some of the directing or some of the acting is not so great, and that's because of the writing, and that's his fault. But I don't really I can't bring myself to hate him on the same level that I hate what Rob Zombie put on paper, because that to me was like just gross, and like it felt like, as much as I think that they both love the franchise in their own way, I don't think that what Rob Zombie was bringing to the table was intended to be like, as I don't know, it just hit me so much worse. It felt so much grosser and more like, it felt more like Halloween 2 felt more like a money grab than anything else to me. And as we talked about, he didn't want to do it, so that's fine. I don't know. I don't see David Gordon Green's directing as the problem,
because he did want to, like, he took the responsibility on, like, I'm gonna do this trilogy. And didn't he, another thing that like really sticks in my craw, wasn't he like doing an interview like 2 months ago or 3 months ago where he's like, yeah, we're still trying to kind of figure out that ending. It's like, dude, you get paid so much money to do this.
Yes,
like,
I'll agree with
that's
that.
Unacceptable. Like, that's if that was any other job in the real world, you would be fired. Like, you did a fucking bad job. Like that. We're still trying to end this movie. It's like, it comes out in theaters in 2 months.
That is I mean, that is egregious, but it is not unheard of. Like, there are terrible movies made every year on tight timelines. Like, and this wasn't. I understand
Yeah,
entirely on a
he
tight
even
timeline.
had an
But
extra year
there's
because of COVID.
late changes
Yeah.
is a consistent problem in this franchise, much less like in the broader scheme of Hollywood. I don't think that's inherently like I don't think it's great, and I don't think it's like an acceptable way of having done things, but I think it's a little much to say that somebody who is capable of putting like some really good shit on screen as being incapable of making any other movie should not be allowed to touch another movie. Maybe not with a pen in his hand.
I just think like he
but
should
as a
like
director,
be
I think he
held like
should.
accountable. Like I said, if this was in any
should.
other job, he would get fired, not given more
Sure,
money.
that's definitely
not
not
given
for us
more
to say. And like
responsibility.
passing judgment on David Gordon Green as a person is fucking
think that's too
ridiculous,
much.
and that's not why we're here. We're here to talk about a fucking product, dude. Like,
It's
chill
garbage.
the fuck out. Talk about the movie. I don't know. Man. Honestly, it's about time to land that plane. So, any other points you got to talk about before we do that? Rate this
there's
thing.
plenty we could talk about.
And I'm
but
not talking about David Gordon Green as a person. I'm saying like fuck him as a filmmaker. He did a bad job. If somebody else did
Sure.
a bad job at their job, they wouldn't have that job anymore. And yet he's given
Tell it
more
to
and
us.
more and more money.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Talk to
Dude.
Blumhouse, man. Like, don't
yeah,
talk
or
to me.
or talk to James
Well, no,
Cameron
that's the
or any of these other
frustration I
directors
get,
that have
is
also
because
made terrible
That's
movies.
the frustration I get, is because everybody's going to go see this because it has the name Halloween on it. And so this man
That's
is
true of
fucking
all of them.
rewarded for dog shit.
That's
Yeah,
why
so
they
did
keep making them.
So did fucking whatever, like Resurrection, whatever that rapper's name is. Like, he got rewarded for being in there. He got paid too.
Well,
And
yeah.
like, and I think that was
I
like
seriously
like,
doubt
I think
Resurrection made as much money as this did.
no, but it was you like it. That was a paycheck though. Everybody gets paid in these movies. Like, if people aren't getting paid to make a bad movie, like that's a whole different thing that you just don't see. Like that's not the case of any of the bad movies we reviewed this year. So I don't know. People getting paid to do a bad job is pretty standard for almost any production. It's just hopefully usually not this big of a person in the procedure. So I don't know.
All right, let's rate this thing out of 5. Juice, how do you feel about Halloween Ends?
All right, let me go down the list. I did not like the intro. The dance scene was shot in an interesting kind of way, but we've covered a lot of Halloween films over the past couple years, and this like Halloween party, like, oh, we're going to a Halloween party, was one of the most like disappointing. I was like, oh, this is it. I was like, who the fuck are these hard ass marching band kids? What? Michael living in the sewer, like, we're literally back to Resurrection at this point. The line, I'll light the match, cringe face. The laugh as Corey goes into the sewer, cringe face. Oh my God, why does he have that knife? Fantasy football talk, laugh out loud. Michael's eyes in Corey, cringe face. The bar scene of him talking about Corey's eyes, cringe face. The problem I had with 2018 is stop trying to teach me something, fucking David. You can't do it well. Tell some jokes, apparently, because that's all you can do well. I like, anytime you try to say something that seems to have some kind of importance to you, it's terrible. It's garbage. Your dialogue's garbage here. Soundtrack was kind of cool. Oh my God, I hope you find love. Cut to October 31st. Cringe face. I wrote, I'm laughing at how bad this is. Laughing out loud. Laughing in my gut. Like that. Oh my God. He takes Michael's mask. What? He throws Michael, the man who just got beat by 15 people and is not dead. He throws him to the ground and takes his mask. What? Some of these kills are okay. Torch kill, kind of cool. Also kind of sawy, so mixed on that. Oh my God. The head smash with the tongue coming out, I thought looked really goofy and weird. Like, I kind of agree with Randy. Like, most of his like shots and stuff set up look pretty good, but that looked like really bad, like surprisingly bad to me. I don't know why. Also the obsession with the knife. He's got this like rusty ass knife down it. I just rewatched Halloween. He chokes some people, like this whole thing, getting obsessed with these like iconic things, like this knife has to be his knife. It's so stupid. This movie's garbage. It really is garbage. I don't know if it's the worst one, but I would put it in the realm of that, of the worst one. So I don't know. I'm gonna give this like a 0.5 star.
A 5-star.
5-star.
It's solid.
A 0.5 star, and that's gonna be for the musical cues. I don't like to Randy's point earlier. I thought part of my defending Halloween Kills was like some of the shots were amazingly set up. I never once did I step back and think like, wow, that's an amazing screenshot like in this film. I didn't get that from this one. And some of the shots look kind of weird. Like I said, the DJ death scene. This is no kills as far as cinematography goes, in my opinion. I don't know what happened, but I don't think it's in this film. So I disagree on that. Bob, out of 5-star, how do you feel about David Gordon Green as a human being?
He seems pretty cool, as far as I can tell.
Halloween Ends.
This movie, man, it is a hot mess. I think so. The baseline, like the baseline that people expect from a Halloween movie, is to see Michael Myers murder a bunch of people, or at least murder the majority of people that get killed, and they missed that. They missed that entirely. So, like, this is just barely a fucking Halloween movie at the end of the day. We've got this misunderstood kid who gets, bullied and abused and whatnot, and then he goes on a murderous rampage and kills a bunch of folks. And at the very end, we get the final battle between Michael and Laurie, and it's moderately satisfying. And I don't know. I dig the score. The soundtrack is really baller as well. The opening is okay. The jack-o'-lanterns are fine. I really dig the throwback with the Halloween 3 font. I thought that was really cool. Sort of sets us up to expect something a little bit different from the first two movies. Ultimately fell flat, unfortunately. I think the themes and the ideas running through it are interesting and can be used in a Halloween movie in a way that's effective. They did not do that by creating the creation of like a new monster in a community that's been like battered as horrifically as this one has. Makes sense, and I can roll with that to a certain extent. I also think like the Willie the Kid, the radio DJ, it's like, man, they like barely touched on it, but like he is sort of a mouthpiece that the whole community is apparently listening to, and he's spreading, false information over the airwaves. And like his death feels so fucking hollow because we only get like a touch of that. And like we barely know who this character is. He's probably got the most notable death in the movie, to be honest. But like we don't really fucking even know who he is. So like nobody really cares when he dies. You're just like, who is this guy? Like we barely know. The idea again is okay. They just don't. It just feels like so half-assed. We get a cameo from Darcy, the male girl, in that scene as well. She gets killed by fucking Corey, which just makes it like mean so much less. Nobody wants to see this fucking twerp murder people.
I wonder if she
wants to
knew.
see Michael Myers kill people on Halloween. I don't know. That's a good question. She might have thought she was getting killed by actual Michael
He's
Myers.
in costume. Who knows?
Yeah, that's
yeah. Nobody. No, I mean, I guess she would know.
I wonder if she would have taken umbrage. Like, I mean,
Nobody
she probably just wanted to be in a fucking Halloween
knows.
movie. I would.
Yeah, sure.
I'd be in the worst. I would put me in
yeah.
Resurrection. I'll do it.
Yeah.
Everybody else is getting
The-
paid.
the-
Why not Randu?
Yeah,
The-
come on.
The final
sell
fight
out.
between Laurie and Michael is fine. It could be better. It could be worse. I feel like just the subtext of like Halloween Kills which they do state like, oh, now we're the monsters. So like it really just becomes the text. It's like the general overall theme of this movie. It's like David Gordon Green was like, I don't think these motherfuckers are hearing me. The kids aren't listening. I gotta fucking beat it into their goddamn heads. Like, you are the monsters, motherfucker. Do you get it? It's like, Jesus Christ, yes. Oh my God, we get it. Michael like literally getting stronger after he kills the cop while Corey holds him down so that he can do it, which is fucking ridiculous. Like he like stands up a little straighter and seems to be a little bit stronger. So like he literally does get stronger the more he kills. So like he is 100% this like supernatural entity, but Laurie
Also
Strode can
just a
like
man.
let him bleed out in the kitchen. Like what the fuck? There's no continuity whatsoever. It's just like scattershot, dude. Like makeup, you can't do both. You can't. You got to do one or the other. All the characters are inconsistent. There's almost no motivations for like really anybody in here. Like, why is all of a sudden Laurie Strode just way more relaxed with her security after the insane, like brutal massacre that happened in 2018? All of a sudden she buys like a normal house and like doesn't have her shotguns or like her lights or security gates or bars on the window. Like she just fucking gave all that shit up and she starts writing a memoir and like baking pumpkin pies and celebrating Halloween. What the fuck? It doesn't make any sense. Like, why does Allison all of a sudden hate her grandma and like blame all these deaths on her grandma? And then she runs off with this fucking nerd and like falls in love. And there's like no romance on the screen whatsoever, but he's got a motorcycle. So that's pretty cool, I guess. And like it's just like so fucking forced, man. Like, why is little Lindsay Wallace in this movie at all? She just owns the bar and like plays with tarot cards. Like, why did they bring her back? Her character does nothing at all. Why does Michael try to like stick Laurie's hand in the fucking food processor, like in the like what? That's not what he does. He just fucking kills people. And like when Laurie's hiding in the fucking the fucking cupboard and she's microwaving her sketty and it pops at just the right time to distract Michael for her to burst out. Like she fucking timed that sketty microwave situation fucking perfectly, man. She knows her micro. She's got that shit dialed in like a motherfucker. That is the dumbest shit ever. What the fuck, man? No Ben Tramer. Where is Ben Tramer?
Dude,
he's
I
not
thought he
in
was
this
gonna be plowing her.
Hey, Bob,
Yes.
what score do you give this movie?
I give it 1 star. It's not the worst Halloween movie, but damn, it's close. Randy, how do you feel?
Well, after that, and after both of your reviews, I feel like I am confident in saying, don't ever anybody come at me talking about Randy rants ever fucking again. Okay? That ship has sailed. Okay, yeah, this is a bad movie. This is a bad Halloween movie, and it's a bad movie overall. It's a bad Halloween movie because not a lot of actual Halloweeniness to it. The second one, Halloween Kills, like I was able to gloss of a lot more of its problems because it brought the spooky season vibes. This movie mostly does not. I think that party was kind of fun, but it was not spooky enough, and there's like almost no other Halloween business going on in terms of like the season. That disappointed me. It disappoints me that there is a tag team situation where evil is crossing through the eyes, eyeball transmitted disease that is infectious and you don't even know you're infected with it. The heavy-handed and also unfocused writing is the biggest culprit. Here's the thing, in all of these movies, I could see a movie that touches on, doesn't focus on necessarily entirely, but touches on these things metaphorically under the surface that works, but they try so hard. They're so heavy-handed, especially in this one throughout. They're so heavy-handed that they actually neglect the things, like Rob said, that bring people to put them in the seats. And that's too egregious for me, man. Like I'm down with big swings, I'm down with whatever, but you really have to have a very fucking crystal clear vision of what you want, and not, to my opinion, I think there was a lot of last minute revisions to this because they're so responsive to what fans think. I think that a lot of the problems with this movie came from the reviews from the last movie. And like I can't really like fault them for caring what the fans think. I mean, obviously they could be crucified, and they might be, but this is like, it's egregious and it doesn't work. They're trying too hard to make something metaphorical on the surface, and they're not even making their point clearly. They're just loudly saying it. It's a loud dude at a bar who thinks he has a point but can't put it into words, just screaming in the corner and begging people to pay attention to him.
Damn.
And all of that sucks. Positives, I think the movie still looks pretty great. I actually think I have a suspicion there were a few shots in this movie that made me think they were looking to David Lynch for inspiration on shots or on settings or on tone, maybe. There was like a Lost Highway shot, even the font, which I know is a reference to Halloween 3, that whole conversation, but that also, and like maybe this is where the idea came from for me, that font is also like very, very similar, if not the same, to the Twin Peaks Fire Walk With Me / the Return season font that they use for just about everything. That italicized sans serif thing. I think it's Arial, something like that. I don't know. There's a lot of like connective tissue there. The radio station, all that stuff. I think the brutality is still there. I don't think it's as good as previously. So just yet another thing to help me gloss over the problems with this movie. I think that the writing for the individual characters is just so fucking weak. I think Laurie is the only one that like at least they're trying to like give. I feel like there's some level of consistency to what Laurie is throughout this particular movie, but even that is loosey goosey. I think that comes again for a lot from revisions due to what people are saying about your movie, which is why one of the reasons I say like don't go to Reddit. Like you need to be able to come up with this plot yourself. You're just as likely to find 1,000 terrible ideas as you are to find one good one. So just be able to come up with an idea if you're writing this fucking thing. Overall, this is a failure of a movie in my mind, and as a Halloween movie, as a piece of entertaining trash, it doesn't even succeed as much as the previous two. I really loved Halloween 2018, and I think that's why people are reacting and overreacting to some extent over how bad this is, because that one showed so much promise and showed so much like love for what most people like about the Halloween franchise, and it did away with all the shit that they suddenly decided needed to be back in here. And I just don't like it. I think it's bad. I don't think it's the worst. I still think Resurrection is the most obvious money grab, and for me that like artless intentions mean so much more to me than artless results. So I think I'd rather have somebody trying and failing than somebody just putting something on screen as a vanity project for their favorite hip hop artist. So that's still my bottom barrel. Yeah, I'm giving this I think I'm going to give it a 1.5, and that's largely on the back of the action sequences, cinematography, like the look of things. Yeah. There's a lot more to be said about this movie. We could go on and rant for hours, but I think Rob might have like broken my will to keep going.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I'm proud to wear that. I'll wear that as a badge of honor. Okay.
You scared me, Bob. You scared me.
I can't wait.
You're supposed to be the best of us, Bob.
You were supposed to be the good one.
I can't wait for 30 years in the future.
I don't know. I don't know. How many years do you think before another Halloween film comes out? Less than 5?
Max.
I was gonna say I can't wait for 30 years down the line where people reflect upon Halloween Ends and go, you know what? That's fucking my favorite. It's amazing.
Dude, the hot takes are already churning out. Yeah, like that people are not, there's no time to waste when it comes to hot takes. You either like commit right away, and the thing is like you can't go backwards in society anymore. You can't decide later that you love something or hate something or whatever. You have to have the highest and most definitive opinion right now, which is why us saying that Halloween Kills isn't as bad as we remember, like our credibility just tanked, buddy.
Nope.
It's done.
Yep. We like
whatever little we had, it's gone.
On the Slack, some people are like, "Oh, this is still better than Kills," and I was like, "What?"
I don't feel that.
I don't
at all.
agree at all.
Our aggregate.
The Johns aren't in this movie.
Dude, the Johns, going back to Kills, I was like, the Johns.
The Johns were
kick ass.
Every viewing I've had since the first has made me like them so much more.
Instead of the Johns, we get these shitty ass band kids. Like, what the fuck?
Our
one star. Our aggregate is a solid 1 fucking star. Let's get into our Rotten Tomatoes segment, see what the critics and users think about Halloween Ends.
Certified.
All right, ladies and germs, this is the Rotten Tomatoes segment in which I'm going to get these gentlemen to guess with the best of their abilities what the critics and user score is for Halloween Ends on RottenTomatoes.com. Now, it's a fairly recent movie still. Obviously, it's came out this week, but it's also a big one. So there's 158 critic reviews counted and tallied here. I'll start with Juice today. Juice, where do you think that the 158 critics fall on the 0 to 100% positive spectrum?
I think it's gonna be low, but I first it seems like everything I was seeing was negative. But then, like you said, everybody's got to have the hot takes, and I think that has given this a little bit of cushion. So I think it's gonna be below 50%, but I think there's gonna be a little bit of bounce up as like a reaction against the negative of no, they're telling a beautiful story. So I'll say 40%.
Okay. Bob, where do you fall on that spectrum?
Did y'all see Corey's mom was just obsessed with custard? Did y'all pick up on that at all? She's always talking about custard or watching like a show about how to make custard.
No.
Anyway,
I saw
it's
that
gonna be
somebody
low.
posted
I didn't, but
about her cup.
Yeah,
Her
that was fucking
spaghetti
weird.
cup.
She just had it was like somebody took their finger in the spaghetti sauce and just slipped it around. The set dresser, man, they kind of fucked that
Also,
up.
spaghetti
Killed
was a
it.
damn
Killed it.
character in this film. Jesus Christ. Fucking
made me
nobody
hungry.
knows how to make anything except fucking spaghetti.
He was like, fucking Corey was
That's
texting the
Haddonfield's
table.
famous dish.
Corey's texting the table and she's like, boys who keep secrets don't get custard for dessert.
Oh.
Jesus fucking Christ.
And
then
the
when he
point of
killed
this
her,
movie
she's-
is to make us hate all of Haddonfield as much
Yeah.
as possible, and that's like built into their confused
You
metaphor, and it makes it less fun to watch because we don't have any fun people like the Johns anymore.
naughty
we just have
boys don't
dickheads.
get custard for
And
dessert.
one guy who's like, "I hope you find love," and that's like the nicest guy in the whole movie.
Poor
Just
man.
gets like 2 lines. Is like, "I hope you
That
find love.
poor-
Sorry, you're getting
poor
kicked
man.
out by your mom
And-
and
Yeah.
have to go live in a fucking murder house."
The
Oh.
shot with fucking Corey standing by the bush outside the house when Corey looks out the window. Like,
my
you
God.
motherfuckers. It's a
Also,
30%. I'm going 30%.
They literally
30%.
brought everybody,
yeah.
everybody back for
Mhm.
all of these films except for Ben
True.
Tramer. How
I
did
know.
they
Everybody-
not
it's
put
rude.
Ben
He's gonna be
Tramer?
the next.
Rude.
If they don't do a full
How?
reboot, he's the next fucking sequel for sure. He's
Blows my
gonna be the
mind.
Paul Rudd lead. He's gonna be doing that. Okay, 30% from Bob, 40% from Juice, and gonna give it to Juice. Very, very close. 41%. Good instincts on that
Oh,
one.
that's a
That-
yeet.
That is generous.
Yeah, that is far too. generous.
158. I think time will tell if that's gonna stay that high.
I
or
think
not.
we've gotten now that we've covered this entire franchise over the past couple years. I'm happy to put it behind us, but I think we've gotten down into the teens as far as ratings go.
Oh yeah, I mean, some of them are so blatant. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a whole. Let's not go there. We have too much to cover. Bob, I'm gonna let you go for the audience score first. There's over 1,000 audience scores already verified. So where do you think those audience members place this film on the spectrum?
Fucking Corey takes the bandage off of his hand, and Allison's like, "Oh no, you're infected, like literally infected by
Oh
Michael
my
Myers."
God.
Blunt as fuck.
And then the chick who's banging the Dr. Mathis, like she keeps calling him Dr. Mathis as like they're about to bang. It's like it's weird. It's weird. Like call him Chuck or whatever.
I think
the
it's
fuck his
supposed to
name
be
is.
weird, but
It's
Also, like
it's
he
all-
doesn't make
takes
it
his
easier to
bandage off
watch.
and like puts his hand like on the
yeah,
window.
they're
with
clearly
it.
making
he
some
doing?
Jesus allegory
Yeah.
there. Am I
What is he
wrong?
doing?
The hurt hand with the blood and the stigmata. I mean,
Oh
why,
my
though?
god, dude, that
Why,
creepy
though?
that doctor was so like, ew,
Yeah.
he's so cringy. It's I don't know. People are. This has got to be fucking. I don't know. Give me the 35, I guess.
35. from Bob.
Sure.
Juice, where are you going with it? Where are you going? Where are you going?
People. It was
People.
41%. I think it's gonna be I think it's gonna be pretty close. Honestly, I think it's gonna be pretty similar. I'm gonna bump it up just a scotch and say 45.
45. All right. So Bob 35, Juice 45. Man, you guys are just 5 points up on this one, both of you. And Juice, Good Instincts yet again, but not as good as last time. 57% positive. 57.
Wow.
Here's the thinking right here. There's hot takes abound, but they're mostly coming from people whose jobs don't depend on their takes. So
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
there's less, I feel like, for some critic who is supposed to be skilled in knowing something about film
Yeah.
to come in and give this a positive review, boy, they better have some thinking behind them, and I don't know where they're going to find it.
Well,
Yeah.
the best thing about this movie is I just got a hell yeet sweet.
I deserved one, but I didn't get it.
I deserve one.
I deserved. I deserved my skin.
I just want what I deserve.
I deserve my custard. I've been a good boy.
Oh God.
I stand by my ethnic slur.
I can't believe this movie exists. I remember that feeling. I'll remember that till the day I die, I think. Just
God
stand by.
damn.
Man, I hope you forget it.
Damn.
Like, for
Flash
your
before
sake,
your
I
eyes,
hope you
like-
do
like
get to.
Just like
I've
Corey's,
forgotten my mother's face, but I still
I
know that
remember the
feeling of
day.
watching the boogeyman.
when David
Get
Gordon Green fucked me in
besmirched.
the ass with no lube. I'll never
Personally.
forget that feeling. David, no lube. Randy, you got a negative review you want to read?
At
about
least
this?
these reviews are always a
I'm
lot
gonna-
of fun.
Yeah. So here's the critics'
Exactly, yeah.
consensus. Critics' consensus reads as follows: Halloween ends, for now anyway, with a freak. Oh, okay. Halloween ends, for now anyway. Ha ha ha. With a frequently befuddling installment that stabbed, slashed, and beaten by a series of frustrating missed opportunities. I don't think that's entirely wrong, but it's
Yeah.
also worded too cutesy. Spider-Man swinging into theaters.
Damn.
Yes. So let's read just a random negative review. Maybe they're funny. Here we go. All of this lofty thematic stuff feels very cheap and insincere because at the end of the day, this is a slasher movie and not a very tense or effective slasher movie. That's simultaneously right, but also seems to intimate that you can't have a slasher movie that with deeper thinking, and fuck
That's what-
that thinking.
That's what I don't like too about all these like takes coming out. It's because the swing the other way, the hot take the other way is like, oh, people just want what they've seen 12 other times. They just
Yeah.
want. It's like,
No.
no,
I
motherfucker.
definitely
want
do not
them
want
to
that.
tell the story that they set up. That I'm paying for the movie that's what I'm going to see. Like they set
I'm
it
okay
up.
with
Yeah.
big swings. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't have any problem with taking big swings, but like you can miss.
Yeah.
Is that not believable that somebody could try really hard to do something new and it not land? It's happened in this franchise numerous times.
Ugh.
Every time now. Like
I think we could write a better Halloween movie at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Almost anybody
And it
could
would-
write a
it-
better Halloween
Even on
story than
Reddit,
this.
they could.
and we're gonna
Just
have Lori
have
say,
Michael
just show
murder
grief your
people.
yabos.
And it's better. That's all. That's all. That's all. God damn. All right. There's like hardly any trivia on this. We don't need to get into it. We're skipping trivia. Let's talk Cooter of the Week.
All right, here we go.
Straight chillin'.
Juice. Why is David Gordon Green a Cooter?
Cooter's character type and a straight shot exclusive. Cooter must hit 3 of these 5 points to be considered a Cooter, but we want the Cooter with the most points. The 5 points of Cooterdom are writing a terrible Halloween script, first name David. It's, the 5 points
Last
of
name Gordon Green.
the 5 points of Cooterdom are sexual deviance, manipulation, smug arrogance, overall look and attire, and overall patheticness. Boys, who's our Cooter of the week?
I would like to submit, because we've already joked about it, that let's not do the directorial Cooter because it's kind of a cop out at this point.
I already said fuck
Corey,
Gordon Green.
Your boy Corey.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, man. I think Corey's got to be, right?
He's gotta be. So
He's basically like an incel stand-in by the end of this movie.
I
Incel
think he's
feelers were
he's-
out.
he's definitely manipulating Allison. Like she wants him to
Mhm.
like quote light the match or whatever, but she does not realize that that means murder a bunch of innocent people.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
So,
also
like-
he set it up where they could have left. He was like, "Leave with me tonight," and like doesn't show up at the diner.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. And also like if I can't have her, no one will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
On.
Get fucked,
Oh,
Four Eyes.
God.
Bob, for the record, was a marching band.
But
kid.
yeah, well, Bob
Yeah,
is a
classic.
hard ass marching band.
Yeah,
Buy
and
me
Bob's
some
going
beer,
in
you
his
little
Letterman jacket and
bitch.
his
I
fucking
used to,
jumpsuit.
I used to ride around our boys' literal
LeBaron.
convertible
Yeah,
LeBaron,
the LeBaron.
just twirling my drummy sticks out the window there, just beating
drummy
wholesale
stick.
ass on nerds.
Oh, you won't
know?
buy me beer, you little bitch?
I guess I'm fucking have to kick your ass and throw you off a bridge.
Yeah.
And have
That-
like
that was
5
me.
altercations in the same 2 locations.
Right? We just keep running into each other.
Because we only go to 2
Manipulation.
places. Yes.
Manipulation for sure. Arrogance. He's like got a touch of it.
He becomes
but
arrogant, but it's sort
he
of
does,
meant to
yeah.
be implied as him like losing sense with reality.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like the arrogance, like it doesn't hurt. I can't. Basically, like I can't feel anymore. I am a mega killer now. Like
I'm a bad boy with a motorcycle. Let's
I'm a
fuck.
bad
Yeah.
boy.
We're gonna
I keep Mike Myers on
fuck.
my bitch
Dude,
seat.
there was a discussion today.
Okay. Michael Myers had
Let him
had
talk,
to
Juice.
had to ride on that motorcycle. He had to, right? Because what's the other option? Did fucking Corey roll into
He took a
Michael's
bus.
little sewer pit house and was like, "Hey man, we're gonna show up at this address right here. Here it is, and we're gonna murder this fucking doctor because he didn't give my girlfriend the fucking promotion she
Dude.
deserves. So I'll ride my motorcycle over and just wait for your ass to walk." Like he had to ride on a
Michael-
motorcycle, right? He had
Dude, I
to.
don't know. Michael's magical. He's able to geolocate his mask at Lori's new house using
I
the
mean-
power of something.
No.
Power of
The
love.
mask was there because fucking Corey was wearing it.
No,
I
but
know, but
would
how
Michael
did he know
Myers
it was
know
there?
that?
Like,
Oh, I don't know, man. He was
That's what I'm
riding on the
saying.
fucking motorcycle. I don't know.
but
He's
okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Not at that point, but that's a whole other conversation.
There was
It's
also
all
the
inconsistent and
discussion.
bad.
There's also discussion about like Corey being hot and desirable, like being compared to
Oh,
Skeet.
I think
from-
the actor's a good-looking dude. That's all.
really.
I,
I,
I
did
agree.
not
Yeah.
get that at all.
I think he's a handsome looking dude, but I
I
think
could see
his-
it being
his
overlooked in this
performance
movie.
I
is,
thought his
fucking
he
insane.
was like dweeb to the max. At least Billy Loomis
Yeah,
is,
but that can be
supposed to be the
attractive. Like-
desirable boyfriend of the hot lead actress.
Well,
and
he's the
it's
bad
He-
boy. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's got that like
Yeah.
weird,
Corey's
like
the
it's
If
like
you can
incel
find Skeet
wiener.
attractive, I think. Yeah,
we can
but
all
he's a
find
good-looking
Skeet
dude, and
attractive.
that you can be as much of an incel wiener as Skeet Ulrich and still get people licking your hot. So
Yeah, I think he's a
did.
good looking dude, but he's got this like weird, forced, awkward smirk. Like when he's smirking, you can tell he's forcing it, and it's awkward. And it's like this is
Yeah,
not.
he's forced to go to
This is
extremes
not a
with that.
real person here, and it's like very distracting for sure. But like
I
don't
think
know,
that's
it
supposed
is-
to be part of like a growing insanity, and like that can be tough to pull off with any sort of like
Yeah, yeah.
aplomb
Dude,
or with
Corey
any
ain't
sort of
no Billy
capability.
Loomis. I'm gonna say that right now.
I agree as a character, but I also think that attractiveness wise, they're the fucking same. They're good looking young men
Yeah,
who
they're-
are
Yeah,
Who's
desirable
bang,
to people
Billy
who like
or
them.
Corey? Who are you going with?
Why did
I will
why
have
or
to choose.
don't
Uh,
limit my understanding of hot boys. Okay, hunky boys are my business, and business is good.
God damn, Randy's just plowing through them. What are we doing? Who's the
Nothing,
Is this man a
nothing
cooter?
good.
What are we?
Yeah,
Is
sure,
he-
he's a good.
all right,
His
yeah,
looking
let's do it.
attire, yeah, he mimics Michael Myers' whole look because he doesn't know what else to do because he's an idiot. Yeah,
Smug arrogance.
Smug arrogance.
Also,
He
like
grows that
all
smug
the
arrogance.
overall patheticness when he goes in,
It's
even
all
though
pathetic.
he takes the mask from Michael, he's like, "You got something that I need." Like the
Mhm.
mask. You've been stabbing people all
Yeah,
night
why?
long. You've been stabbing people
Masks
all night long.
Are not exclusive to Michael.
And
You
also,
own
I
a mask.
hated that little scarecrow mask. That
I
they
did
gave
too. That was a
him.
Dude,
bad looking
me
mask.
too.
Oh my god!
It's so dumb.
Oh my
They could have
God.
picked a actual like kind of spooky mask and let him like, oh, this is his version of the
Yeah,
Michael mask, and that would have
exactly.
at least made a kind of sense to me.
That would have,
Yeah.
put your stamp on this franchise a little better.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Oh,
It's
God.
just
Now people are
not
going to be doing fan
scary
art of
at
that fucking
all.
Scarecrow mask, and it's going to be
Oh my God.
unfortunate
It's
for all of us.
not scary at all.
Give
Oh
him one
my
of the skull
God.
masks from Halloween 3. Why not
Dude,
make another
hell
callback to
yeah.
Halloween 3?
Hell yeah.
Do that.
That would have been dope.
Do the pumpkin mask. Do the witch. One of them. Like I know we referenced them in the last one, so we know they exist in
The
this.
skeleton one would have been dope.
The skeleton would have been pretty dope. Yeah, he's
Anyway,
just,
but
he's a,
we're-
he's
we're-
a
You
little,
already had
We're
him. They were
allowing
sitting in
ourselves
the
to
prop.
complain.
They were sitting
He's
in
a
the
little-
props like section.
Yeah.
like he's not a frightening individual, and it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Sure, Core's a cooter. We got him. We locked him up. Whatever. He's a cooter.
That's fine. I don't want to talk about him anymore.
Yeah, we're done with it. We're skipping what we've been watching. We're getting to our
Oh my
hotline
God.
streams. Let's do it.
Hotline Scream.
Oof. This movie's got us all fucked up, man.
Dude,
Damn.
this fantastic.
I am untethered and my rage knows
I
no
think
bounds.
Kills was the most even keeled one. As hot as
Dude,
that
it
one was, I
was
think
somehow.
Kills was
God
like
damn.
pretty chill on our
This
discussion.
is. I'd like to apologize on behalf of Straight Chilling. Offer us some
What?
grace.
No,
and
let's not do
acceptance,
that.
please.
We never do that.
We have gotten worked up.
Oh my goodness. We got all the voicemails in the world. First up, we're going to hear from our boy Matt. Let's hear what he's got to say.
Hey guys, it's Matt. I'm calling in to answer your prompt about what I'd like to see the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror do. First of all, I'm not a Simpsons guy, so if they've done something similar to this, I apologize. Please don't kill me. But I think it'd be cool if they did a parody of Scream, where Lisa played Jamie Kennedy's Randy character, and they go over the rules of being in a horror movie, and then maybe they could make fun of how horror movies have evolved, and there's enlightened horror, and how like The Nun is supposed to be a good movie, but it's really horrible. Like just go into those kind of jokes, playing the old horror movies from the 1900s against these newer horror movies. So I'm looking forward to hearing the episode this week. I hope y'all pick Hellraiser. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
Yeah, that was a holdover.
So they, as far as I remember, I watched them all this year. I don't think they did Scream, but I'm going to take it even one further. That's a brilliant idea.
I
Matt.
agree.
I think she should comment on parodies of horror films, like Halloween specials, TV
You're blowing
Halloween
my mind.
specials.
Scary,
Yeah.
like scary movie.
Yeah. So,
But funny.
or no,
So
even,
it's like
I'm
a-
talking about like Halloween TV specials, like what they are
Yeah.
doing.
Oh, I see.
What
Okay,
they
yeah, I could do
themselves
that.
are
Yeah.
doing, yeah. Like
I
how
thought you were going to like just all the way down the rabbit hole of like, we're not. She's not giving out the rules of a Scream movie. She's giving out the rules of a scary movie, which
oh
has
no, I
like,
meant like
so it's
she's
subverts
giving
the
out the
subversion, the subversion.
she's giving out the rules of how to do a shinning or how the shinning plays it.
I
that
could see
kind of-
both of those working. I actually like
Yeah.
your idea better though.
That's a really smart idea, Matt. Good call, man.
Yeah,
Go
Lisa's
Meta.
a great conduit for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Meta, people love that. Instead, they're bringing in Linda Belcher this year, apparently, for Halloween Horror or Treehouse of Horror, rather.
Well,
Which I fucking love Bob's Burgers.
I'd be
so
happy
much.
to see that.
yeah, I love
Yeah.
Bob's Burgers too, and they always have great Halloween episodes. So
They do, man. I hope they're gonna do a
are they
dope-ass
gonna make
Halloween
her
episode.
look yellow though? What are they gonna do?
That's what they did with the Critic. Like that's what they did with
That's weird. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
What are they?
I mean,
gonna
they
do
didn't
with
do
her
that with Hank
skin?
Hill though. The one time he showed up for a second.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember that.
So questionable. Yeah, it was like a bit
We'll see.
joke.
We'll see about
So-
that. Okay.
Okay.
Interesting. Yeah, good concept, Matt, man. Thanks for calling in. Next up, we're gonna hear from our boy Hydraberg. Let's hear what he's got to say.
What up, boys? It's your boy Hydraberg. Don't mind the noise, the sizzle. The boy's cooking a little something. I just wanted to say thank you. I was just listening to the recent show for Hellraiser. Dope that you guys have Michael on. It's good to hear his voice again and hear him fucking podcasting. Go, Mike. And I just wanted to say thank you to Bob and Andy for coming on for Suspiria 2018 on A Cut Above. It's awesome having you guys on. I can't wait to have you guys on some more in the next year. Maybe we'll review like a really shitty movie and have like a fucking awesome time just ragging on it. I also want to give a quick thank to Soju for having me on for the special for Werewolf by Night. Andy Be Damned. It's a good movie. It's a special, you know. It combines horror and comic book stuff. It's fun. It's not going to win any awards, but I dug it, and I really dug the conversation that me and Soju had. And I'm just honored that you guys even asked me to come and be involved in anything Straight Chillin' related. I know, like, your show's precious. Like, you built this fan base up and this thing. And it's you know, it's important to all of us. The whole Slack chat, like, your whole community is just dope, right? And, yeah, I just wanted to give a special thanks to all you guys for being supportive of everybody else's shows, A Cut Above. I wanted to give a special thanks to G-Baby for coming on the other day, for Donnie Darko. That was a dope episode, too. Like, everybody's putting out bangers lately. Everybody's got a podcast. It's fucking awesome to see. And, yeah, it's just fucking, I'm just stoked. Like, Halloween's around the corner. Chilloween this Friday. I'm going to see Halloween tomorrow. I don't even like Halloween that much, but I'm going to go see it so I can be in on the conversation. And, I don't know. Just want to call in and say hi, guys. So, yeah, keep chilling. Keep it creepy. And, God bless. Later, guys.
Me be damned.
Randy be damned. It was funny the other night in the Chilloween party. At one point, Miles came in and he was like introducing and talking. He was like, "I'm pretty sure I'm the only person here without a podcast anymore."
Yeah. Just about, man. But yeah, we missed Hyderberg at the Chilloween party.
Yeah.
People were definitely asking about you. Hopefully you were having a good time and not a bad time elsewhere.
Hopefully you weren't getting a sad hand job in a closet or whatever from a stripper, like the stories have told.
Legend.
Those are some throwback references. Randy isn't just pulling that out of.
Yeah, that's yeah. Yeah, good to hear from everybody. Happy Halloween for sure. Right back at you. We got 2 more voicemails. Next up, we're gonna hear from our boy Cole. Let's hear what he's got to say.
Hey guys, Canadian Cole calling here. And actually, I'm the new Patreon this week. I just got a new credit card, so I'm not really a new Patreon. But I haven't called in a really long time, so I'm really calling in just because of that. So I guess a couple things. First, I'm not going to throw any shade at Bob. I think a half star for the dog is a way better, I shouldn't say way better code, but I respect it more because it takes way more to put a dog in a movie as opposed to Yabos. You see Yabos everywhere. The other thing, a long time ago I suggested a point system, 3 points per each section of Cooterdom. And I hear you guys arguing with a great debate between Voight and Trevor for Hellraiser. And just, I don't know, to solve debates like that, I think it would still work. Yeah, and I actually, to my fault, I haven't seen any of the movies. I have read the book, and the book is like balls to the wall, creepy ass. Like, it made me, I remember I was listening to it, walking the dogs at night one time, and for the first time in like 15 years, probably longer than that, I was like scared to be in the dark. I thought something was behind me. It's a creepy book, that. And no one called in about the Treehouse of Horror. So here's what I think. I think it's obviously the 3 parts or whatever. One should be on Dracula, one on Frankenstein, one on the Mummy. Now I know they've kind of talked about vampires and Frankenstein's monster and mummies before, but I think they should directly do the movies in like the 30s, kind of reference those, and then obviously try to make it scary again. I don't care much for gore, but if it's I like when it's real scary. And I guess your question this week was, I'm going to run out of time here, about the Cenobites. I haven't put any thought to this, so I'm just going to say the first thing comes to mind. Randy is going to be, he's going to come in a suit, looking real fly, hair slicked back, beard groomed, and he's going to have like a third fucked up eye. It's all bloody or something. And then he's going to draw you. And whatever he draws becomes reality. So it'll be like your intestines are spilling out of your guts or something.
And I'm the only one that gets
Fuck
one.
yeah.
I love that the terrifying version of me is one that dresses well.
Damn, he's looking.
Oh my
fly.
God, he's groomed.
He's drawing me like a French girl. Oh God, no.
That's hilarious.
Awesome. I like the idea for the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror as well. Like all 3 segments were like old Universal Monster riffs where they take it a little more seriously than they have before. I'd be totally down. Like draw it all in like black and white.
As far as I
That'd be
remember.
Dope. Down
Yeah,
for that. Cool. Solid idea, Cole. I also like that Cole's just apparently lousy with Yabos. He's like, those are fucking half stuff Yabos. A dime a dozen, motherfucker.
You know,
give me a
dick. Cole proves it. Guys just want to see someone swing dong. We respect it. We
want to be
respect
represented in the realm.
That's
of
right.
nudity.
Representation is very important. I want to see that D.
Show me the meat.
Show me your sweaty fat hog, sir.
Damn.
Not the slim ones.
No, the well-dressed Randy. Pop out
I will
that
draw
sweaty
it.
hog.
We want the sausages, not the Slim Jims.
Okay.
No shaming. No shaming.
Last but not least, we got a first-time caller, I believe. Slytoski. Let's hear what he's got to say.
Hey boys, it's not first time listener, but first time caller Slytoski. And in answer to the question, what franchise needs to be revived and can easily be done well? Halloween and probably Texas Chainsaw. Okay. Happy Halloween.
Okay, I'm not going to sleep tonight now.
Halloween obviously needs to be done again because
One more
they
time. We
fucked
can
this
do it
one
better
up.
next
It
time.
just takes 20 bites at the apple to get it just right.
One
Just
more
right.
time.
Dude,
Texas
Poor
Chainsaw.
old
They're
Texas. I just don't know if they're ever gonna dig themselves out of the dirt. They tried.
they remade it perfectly when they made X.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah, they're gonna make another one for
Of
Netflix because
course.
everybody and their grandma watched the Texas Chainsaw
That was
2022.
before we were getting the spoils that we're getting now of horror. We were just
Dude.
desperate for
Spoils of
something.
horror.
Just
Yeah, that's
fucking
true.
swimming in quality films.
Yeah, now it's just like, oh, we had to watch
Yes.
Texas Chainsaw.
Oh
You know what
my-
that made me think
oh
of
my
though?
God.
Like,
Oh.
I'm sorry. That made me think of a roundabout way. One other thing about Halloween Ends
Uh-oh.
is
Oh boy.
Corey
Mm.
at one point in this movie just becomes Seymour Krelborn and is feeding people to the monster.
Oh, yeah.
It bothered me. I turned to Becky in this movie and I was like, they turned this kid into Seymour fucking Krelborn. This is now Little
they-
Shop of Horrors.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
Feed me, Corey.
scene, each
Exactly.
scene with Michael Myers was like kind of different. You know? Oh,
Yeah,
he's like,
and so-
feeding
oh, he's a
people.
decrepit man. And no, he can't. I don't know. It's okay.
Yeah, there
Sorry,
really
sorry to
wasn't a lot of
reopen the wound,
consistency
but-
there.
It's dog shit. In conclusion,
David, come on our podcast and defend yourself. Why is this the
that
film
man
you made?
is way too busy living in Hollywood, blowing his millions
You
to give a
would
fuck
think.
about our
You
opinions.
would think, but I still gotta, take my
Yeah.
shots. I
Oh.
gotta try.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. I think the
sure.
shot that you're taking is whether or not you'll get a fucking restraining order on your ass.
all over your candied ass.
Ooh, so sweet.
I got to restrain.
Yeah, that is
that
thematically
candied
appropriate for
ass.
Halloween.
with my tongue. Hello. All right. If you guys want to call in and leave a voicemail to be featured on next week's show, hit us up at 904-638-3231. Joe Hangs, you got any prompts you want to throw out there? Call in, tell us how much you like this movie and how wrong we are. That's cool.
Call in and tell us to blow ourselves, please, or anything you want, really.
Blow it out of our asses, whatever. Yeah.
Well, I've seen some defense already. Some on our Slack of this film, so I mean, it's not, we can handle it.
I haven't seen very passionate arguments in favor of this film. Not in our Slack. There are some on the broader internet, but.
But I've seen some mentions. Like somebody was like, "Oh, my normie husband liked it, so take that for what you are." So I'm like, "Yeah, okay, yeah."
No, that's cool. We're just fucking nerds.
Yeah, like
it's all. Yeah.
Once and for the millionth time, we are not experts. We're a bunch of dorks. So just like you, that's why everyone who listens to us then started their own podcast where they can. Incorrectly say things about movies just like us.
Yeah, I want to see Michael
and
kill people. Yeah.
Where's Ben Tramer?
Oh, my boy Ben.
Don't you even know Ben Tramer?
Why didn't they listen to our podcast and find out that Frank Reynolds needs to be in this movie?
See,
as
David,
Ben Tramer.
if you listened to us 2 years ago, like you should have, you would have got a great idea.
Danny DeVito is that guy that Laurie Strode's talking about. You meet him and he makes you want to rip your fucking top off and show Grief your tits. That's Danny DeVito. And that's what we
She could get real weird with it.
Halloween rear-ended.
Lindsay owns
the name of that
bar, but Ben Tramer doesn't even get cast.
I'm starting to feel really bad for complaining about a lack of focus in this movie when this is our podcast. So
yeah, we're done.
Maybe we should
keeping the beat. I want to hear one day Buck Soju for that terrible. He can't even do his job right.
Somebody is already typing tic-tac, tickety-tack, and it's coming.
Why did they even give him a platform?
He makes trillions of dollars and
He's
turns
just
out
living it up in soul, just laughing it up.
Doing blow off hookers' asses.
Off the holes.
off of the somehow.
We're gonna be back. Eating all that blow.
We're gonna be back next week with a brand new episode, and we apologize in advance for that. It's gonna be our Halloween extravaganza. Juice, what 3 movies are we talking about next week?
Oh my lord, I don't know if I can remember. The Exorcist.
How did you become me all of a sudden?
The Exorcist, the Exorcism of Emily Rose, and The Last Exorcism.
Nailed it. Those are the movies that you
nailed it. I don't know how we're going to talk about them, but I plan to watch them. Exorcist, The Last Exorcism, Exorcism of Emily Rose.
I think we should swap just 2 and 3 and just do them chronologically. That makes the most sense to me.
Fine.
I think we should do them in a random order.
We should just talk about this movie.
I should talk about The Last Exorcism while Bob talks about The Exorcist, while Randy talks
simultaneously?
about Emily Rose at the same time.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay.
And around.
And
we're very good at talking over each other. Wait. Let me get my point in about another movie.
So, yeah, check out the OG Exorcist, The Exorcism of Emily Rose, and The Last Exorcism. Get ready for next week's show. Until then, please. Actually, don't rate us on iTunes probably after this episode. Just go ahead and skip that. You can subscribe to us if you want to. Send us an email and bitch juice out, or any of us if you want it. straightchillingpodcast@gmail.com. Find us on Twitter, STR8_chilling. If you want to join our Slack channel conversations, hit us up on one of those social media outlets and I'll send you a link so you can do so. And until next week, as always, all you mother truckers, please keep chilling.
Rip off your shirt and show Grief your fucking tits.